Okay, what I'm going to do for you now is I'm going to read this article that was written by Michelle Walling from nd5.com, and this is not an endorsement of all of Miss Walling's material. However, I believe that the majority of the information within this article is good, and despite some of the things that I've said regarding John Lash and how I feel that he's stepped back as of recently and he's fallen succumb to the illusions of separation with his white genocide obsessions. I will still read the article in full, which cites John Lash, and I may provide my commentary here or there, but I'm, for the most part, going to be reading the article in full. And I think it's important for us all to, take in the information and use discernment with all pieces of information that we come across. But the overall description of the archons and how they're working in our world, there's a lot of very important points that are covered in this article. So as we begin, John Lash has coined the definition of archons as being an artificial intelligence program that has enslaved humanity over millions of years. In order for humans to beat the system during the final showdown, we need to know a few simple things that can be done to break the programming. What is the origin of the archons? According to John Lash, the archons are the biggest, baddest wolves in the universe. When the divine feminine aspect of Source sent out the call to souls to come be a part of this great ascension experience, many responded. Not only was there an opportunity to rapidly grow spiritually, but it was a chance to be part of the grandest template of biological creation ever. The archons did not hear the call, and out of fairness, some souls told them of their plans to incarnate into the densest but most polarized environment created thus so far. The archons did not believe the souls because they had not heard the call themselves. They already had exhibited greed, domination, and control tendencies which had pushed them farther from the vibration of Source. The archonic entities became jealous of the souls' decisions to embark on this journey and vow to follow them down into the experiment and to give them the extreme polarity difficulty needed to push humanity towards waking up when it was time to make the journey home. The mind that controls the archon system is cunning and brilliant. Once the archons realized how easy it would be for them to control beings in such a dense environment, they did not want souls to be successful in breaking out of their system. They realized that they could have this experience for a very, very long time as they fed off the negative dense energy created from their control systems. The archons supposedly have 800 billion units assigned to the almost 8 billion people on the planet. These units cannot physically incarnate, so they use other beings in the galaxy to mind control in order to have a vehicle which to control the human population. They can also create mind control programs to directly affect humans via television, radio, internet, magazines, and newspapers, education, pharmaceutical, health, finance, computer games, music, and advertising. The archons do not have human consciousness or emotions. They are parts of a mind being that is a brilliant programmer. This being had the ability to go back and forth throughout timelines in order to see what choices humanity would make and to always be one step ahead in order to keep humans controlled. Now that we're on the verge of a shift in human consciousness, we are aware of what has happened, and we are able to make conscious decisions to break free from the programming. And I'll pause and continue shortly. There is a difference of opinion as to whether or not we've already reached a critical mass. And I found that my expectations are, and my understandings of what is a consciousness shift is apparently a lot different than others. And I think that there is a real lack of compassion for the victims of war in the Middle East and elsewhere that is still very prevalent in our society. And there are ways that we can see the social engineering within our own society. We can see the reality of what's actually going on. And so there's a number of perspectives with regards to the archons, and I respect a lot of those perspectives, and we'll go back to this article shortly. But it is there are certain things that are a matter of perspective, and I think that we should share our own truth, and there's nothing wrong with being positive. But there's definitely a huge difference of opinion as to where the collective consciousness actually is. And so I just want to make that point and stress the importance, however, of the individual shift in consciousness which we have power over, going back to the article. Part of the system put in place involved computer programs that can monitor humanity via facial recognition and social status updates on Facebook. And that's a very good point, by the way. And there's a lot I can add to that, but we'll stick with what's been written. There is accelerating evidence of truth monitoring on Facebook postings as prime truther articles and statements are buried by the paid Facebook employees. One way they do this is by creating more posts section where they can hide the good stuff. Another way that one's Facebook wall is no longer chronologically, they can now shuffle posts around any way they wish. The Facebook police have also been proven to remove likes on articles that are a threat to the agenda. Their major goal on Facebook is to distract people with either mindless junk or to flood people's walls with images of animal cruelty or war, while making otherwise popular truther articles seem to be not that liked very much at all. And what I'll add is we've seen the wave of fake news. And it seems that a lot of this fake news is targeted towards some of those that are calling for the collective shift in consciousness or saying that it's here. And it seems to dovetail some of the easily debunked fake conspiracy news. You know, so-and-so bankers are about to be arrested. The shift is here. Everything's about to be fixed. And we've seen waves of this and waves of that. So I would say that the social media police, if you will, those behind the scenes, make sure that certain things that are disinformation, whether it be spiritual or political, they make sure that's at the top of our feed. In addition to that, you have people with fake profiles posting in certain groups. You know, it could be a picture of a guy with a Sikh with something that looks like a turban, something's on his head, and it's like, you know, radical Muslims demand, enter the blank here. You know, and people are commenting going, that's a Sikh. So there are aspects of this Archon programming that we can easily see on Facebook today. Going back to the article. Breaking the programming. The Archon programming system can be broken by turning off the TV, reducing the time spent on cell phones, limiting time on the computer, including Facebook, especially the Facebook games, she writes, which is something I've never done. And probably for good reason. And spend more time in nature. The Archons do not plan on us disconnecting our consciousness from technology and instead connecting with Mother Earth. Meditation and focusing your breath are easy steps to relaxing yourself enough to tune in. In fact, many beings have time traveled from the future to warn humans of a period in which we are suckered into a technological dream that ends up being a zombie nightmare. Until humanity is free of the archonic control, technological advances are serving as part of the program to suck our consciousness out of our bodies. When we vacate the human body consistently, we allow other beings to enter while we are off in virtual reality heaven. Gaia, the consciousness of planet Earth, has important messages for us right now. Grounding, turning off, and tuning into her is one of the most important things we can do. If we realize that this intelligence is program-based, then breaking the program will break the system. Human behavior has been studied for hundreds of years in preparation for this time. Up until now, actions and choices have been easily predicted by minions who have either used remote viewing or looking glass technology to study the future in order to create control systems in the present. If we make the alternate choice than what we have robotically following, we can put a kink in the system that will change the future, or a rift in the matrix, as I say. If enough people begin doing this, we will inevitably break the whole system down. And sometimes I refer to it as the dark grid of the mainframe, as depicted in Dark City the movie. And the Signal, as depicted in They Live the movie. This could be as simple as breaking your morning routine, she writes. If you normally take the same route to work, seek an alternate route a few times to break up the monotony. If you have coffee in the morning, try tea or water instead. Have breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast. If you make your bed every morning, try leaving it unmade, or vice versa. Be a slob for a change. Other things you can do would include moving your furniture around in your house or even moving houses. If you move, you can give some things away to homeless shelters. Reducing the attachment to things and consumerism is a great way to break the pattern. And I'll add to that, so, being spontaneous and breaking out of a pattern, out of a mold, out of your own mold. And there's something that I found very invigorating about that, doing the unexpected. Okay, well, I'm going to do this all of a sudden and accomplish these tasks and goals. And when you do that, it feels great. Going back to the article, many people have felt the itch to change something in their lives, and as they made these changes, they have changed future timelines. That urge to change has already changed many timelines for the better, and has caused a great concern to the minions as things are not panning out as expected. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, be as creative as you can in changing things around. And this is also something I believe is an opinion. This is a perspective. That the elite are panicking, that things are not panning out as expected, I would differ 180. So there's a lot of things really worth considering and sharing in this. I would also say that a lot of things are going according to plan. Raising vibration and consciousness. If the Archon programs created for our reality, if they're 3D based, then raising our vibration to a higher frequency out of their range will be a way to escape from their controls. We continue to raise our vibration. We increase consciousness, which is our trump card. Within higher consciousness lies the ability to know the truth and what we are, as well as how powerful we are. The power of the light within us can never be controlled once we remember enough to keep us from being coerced and tricked into succumbing to comfortable and numbing routines. And I often say succumbing to the illusions of separation with regards to the race programming and the race baiting. While chaos ensues on the planet, small changes can be made to ensure that we do not continue to live like robots as we change our routines. As the consciousness of the planet rises in frequency, all that live on her do as well. This is something that seems to be carried over from the New Age movement. And I believe that also to be an area of speculation. This seems to be slowly changing our reality on an individual level right now, and eventually the individuals combined will change the whole. And again, and so as the article concludes, on a very important note, we are co-creating this change with everyone on the planet, whether we realize it or not. just by following our innate urges for change. The future of humanity depends on the choices we make in the now, which will ultimately change the forecasted future probability. A very good article by Michelle Walling, and I think that some of the radio reports I very much enjoyed, and there are others that the information very, very questionable. So this is a case of me sharing with you and pointing out how, we may disagree on certain things. But there does seem to be a critical mass, if you will, and I saw this coming years ago. I felt this would happen, where more people would be hip to what the archons are doing and their use of technology and the return to spirit as a solution. So there's differences of perspectives, and that's fine. On where consciousness is as a collective, it does almost seem to be like a dividing political issue. But where we are in agreement is the importance of the individual shift in consciousness, no matter what the archons throw at us in the meantime. So I'm going to leave a link down below, and I will speak to you again soon.